What's up, fellow filmmaking friends? Josh here with Running Scared Motion Pictures, and I'm beyond excited because today with me, I have...
Ferry, baby!
Yes! I called you out in the first podcast tester thing that I did because I wanted to have you on here really bad. So thank you for coming down and being on.
My pleasure, man.
Chris, we've got a history. We've done some film stuff together and...
Yeah, it totally sucks. But you pick yourself back up and you get through it.
Quickest thing is to go to easthamptonfilmfestival.com.
And the main reason I wanted to have you on here is because, number one, you will have stories of how I work and things, you know, that we do and all that. But you've done something very special for the community. And I want to thank you for that. I hope people have thanked you enough and like understand what you've really done. I told this story in the first podcast. I remember we were hanging out one day on set and you're just like, you were so nonchalant about it. You were literally just like, I'm going to start a film festival. And I just remember being like, you know, people talk, you know, everybody's going to start this, whatever. But you did. So tell me, how did that come from conception to that moment when you were like, I'm going to start a film festival, the process through it to where you are now?
You know, it's not a great answer, but I don't remember. We moved to the area in 2020 because my best friend from all the way back out in the 7th grade lived in Easthampton. And so I had been to the area and loved it, but I wanted to build a community for myself. And the way I've always done that is getting involved in something that I enjoy doing, and then you meet other people that are doing that, and then you make new friends. So I thought I'll just get involved in whatever the local film festival is. And there wasn't one. Like the Northampton Film Festival stopped in 2018. I don't know why. And I maybe it wasn't you. I remember somebody saying, why don't you start a film festival? And I thought, I can't do that. And then I Googled it up and it was actually like, oh, it actually looks pretty easy. So I just started it. And what I discovered is that there's a lot of people working in film in Western Massachusetts, a lot of really talented folks, and they didn't mostly seem to know each other. So this film festival ended up being this great kind of catalyst for all of these relationships. And I did make a bunch of new friends out of it.
You did. One of the things that I think Chris does for his film festival that is so special is you play the films and then you let the directors, the actors, the crew go up on stage and people can ask them questions and actually interact with them. And I think, number one, what an amazing experience, right? To go out and see somebody's art like that up on the big screen and then like to get to actually talk to them, like that's powerful. And interestingly enough, the ending song there, the juxtaposition of like the upbeat country music was written by my dad. He came down and where is he over there? Joe DeForge from the Garage Fossils. Did you know that's what you were going to do from like the beginning, or how'd you come up with that?
Yeah, I think that was always a big part of the concept for me, because in my mind, there's the making of the film, right? So you write it, you produce it, you move heaven and earth to get this film made. And then there's a sort of a dotted line that is distribution between an audience buying a ticket and coming in and watching the film. And that line very seldom gets crossed. A lot of people who love movies and watch movies don't really have an idea of what goes into making a movie. And the filmmakers, for as much as they care about it, they've watched it how many hundreds of times, and they have no idea what a completely rando audience is going to think of it. So the talk back afterwards is really the beating heart of it to me, because it crosses that line and the audience gets to talk to the filmmaker and the filmmaker gets to talk to the audience.
Being somebody that has submitted to your film festival, that's what we looked forward to the absolute most. Like, it's cool to get to like see it up on the big screen and, you know, get everybody's reaction and stuff, but really it's that interaction that like, that's what makes it truly special. So when you started this, you had two options, right? You could have did a film competition or you could have did a film festival. What made you go festival instead of competition?
The competition thing didn't even occur to me. Like, because who am I, like, judging? Like, who am I to, you know? The selection process has already has so much bias built into it. And for the first time this year, I mean, we've had people who helped with the screenings previously, but we have formal committees for the first time. You know, this is our 5th season coming up, and it's so much better having a panel of people that can just kind of, you define a set of criteria by which people rate a submission, and then it's egalitarian, right? I mean, it's not just the Chris Ferry's opinion show. It's a collection of diverse viewpoints weighing in on something.
No, that's nice. And with art, I mean, it's diverse, right? So people interpret it differently for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I think we are going to do awards this year, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. I think that's one thing filmmakers have said to me a lot is, why don't you do awards? Like, that's so much fun. And, okay, it was just more work. So we are going to do that this year. And I think that moving forward, we'll iron that out a little bit. But the festival, film festival, of course, it's about film, but festival is the key word to me. As well, I want to get everybody together. I want people networking. And we did a live music event last year that was really fun. And I want there to be food trucks. I want it to feel like a festival.
When and where is the film festival this year?
Well, it's in Easthampton, Massachusetts. We do a variety of different venues around town. We haven't even closed submissions yet, so we don't have programming. I can tell you what's going to screen where yet. But for the first time this year, we're going to screen in Northampton and also in Amherst. So we're breaking the confines of Easthampton for the Easthampton Film Festival, which is very exciting.
Nice. I will link all of the Easthampton Film Festival's information in the description below. So go on, like the Facebook. I'm sure they can stay up to date there, get all the information, all the updates and stuff like that.
By the way, there's a festival website, easthamptonfilmfestival.com. It's a mouthful, but it's literal.
Nice. That'll be linked on there too. So head on down and check that out because, again, it's like, I don't know. I talk about this with some of my friends sometimes, and it's like, in America, if you want to make a movie, you kind of get a headache. In other countries, if you want to make a movie, like the government will give you funding to like do something creative like that. And I just can't help but feel like there's this correlation. Like the more art you do, the less violence and nonsense and stuff that you have going on. So that's why, like, for me, it's like, trust me, I think anytime you decide to do like media, anything negative is going to get more clicks, more views, more attentions. But what I love about what you did is like, there's no negativity. It's not even about, you didn't even want to make people feel bad by not getting, winning the film, if you had it like that way, a competition. It's just nice. It's nothing but positivity, right? It's like everybody gets to go. They get to be proud of their film. They get to watch it in front of a bunch of other filmmakers and people that care about this stuff. And then to your point, you get to make connections. Like people will come up and talk to you. Like you will exchange information. And, it's cool because that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you for going about it and doing it the way that you did, because I think it's a lot more approachable when it's a festival as opposed to a competition.
Well, I think, like to your point with other countries, it is, you're so on your own in America. There's not government help to make a website. There's grant money, but that's not, it's you make it happen or it doesn't happen. And I think the cliche of the auteur is this kind of like one person has a vision and writes it and shoots it and does everything themselves. Not even the auteurs that we hold up in our culture do it by themselves. They have collaborators. It's this incredibly collaborative art form. And, that's one thing I think audiences don't understand. It's like, wow, there were 50 people went into and you're like, yeah. I mean, it takes an enormous number of people all working together towards the same end and contributing their individual artistic vision to this thing that a finished film is really a celebration of collaboration. And for me, the idea of having it be a competition detracted from that. I mean, obviously, we can't screen all of the films we have submitted. So there is a sort of there's a bitter taste sometimes because somebody worked so hard and submitted it and got excited and we didn't end up selecting it to screen. And that, I hate that feeling. But, but to add the fact that, you're trying to beat somebody else out for this or that award is sort of no, I want it to be, come to the festival, make new friends, find new collaborators to work on the next thing with. And it's a celebration. It's a festival.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing in filmmaking, I talked about it in like the first episode that I did quick, but like when you've busted your butt and it's like you're on the last scene that you have to shoot and that final line hits and when you can yell rap and the place like blows up, Chris, like, that feeling. That is like, it's so special. It's like, I feel like that's what your film festival brings in. Like when it's done, everybody claps, everybody goes ballistic. And it's like, again, it's just like, it's a positive environment. Like it's fun to be in. I could imagine there's got to be struggles between, not being able to get everybody in there, but we're limited with time, right? I do think it's awesome. You had mentioned there's multiple locations. Like it's kind of nice to give different venues some exposure to what we do, get some different eyes on stuff. I know, was it last year or the year before, there was like a music shop that you had some screenings in and stuff. Yeah. So if people wouldn't have normally walked in there, now here's your chance to like check this place out, see the guitars on the walls and stuff like that. So I think not only are you injecting, culture into media, but you're bringing the media into the culture too. So that's kind of cool. You're mixing them.
Yeah. We have, challenges in Easthampton. We don't have a cinemaplex. We don't have one of those gorgeous old single screen movie theaters that some towns have that have somehow managed to keep going since, the 50s up through the 80s and not getting chopped into several screens. And so we have a bunch of different venues. We're figuring it out. I would love to have a big central theater in town that we could call home base, but we don't. So we're making the best of what we can do and trying to turn a bug into a feature. If we do it at Abandoned Building Brewery, you get to have a great draft house experience where you get to drink Matt Tarlecki's fantastic beer, and there's places where you can get something to eat. And so it's, smorgasbord.
This might be a tough question to answer now, and I don't want to put you on the spot for it, but like, what does your film festival need? If there was somebody that was watching this, like, is there sponsorship? If they had a location, like, what could a viewer do to help you guys out and help you grow as a film festival?
Well, yeah. I mean, funding is always, it's not just that we want somebody to cut us a check. We're looking for collaborators in all different facets of it. So I've got people now who are chairing committees and who are all in. We don't bring in enough money to pay. This is all a labor of love. So it's not, I can't offer you a job with a paycheck yet. But I would love to get this to that place. And to do that, we need to build relationships with sponsors and partners and, investors. I don't even know what that looks like. I say that word, but people work their butts off to make this happen and keep this great. And it's super exciting. And I think it's very valuable. And I know that there are folks out there with businesses or with income that they are trying to find meaningful ways to use. And I want to meet those people. I want to develop relationships with those people who see the vision and get it and become believers in it and can contribute in that way.
Yeah, no, that's nice. It's like, I hope that more people hear this. And if you can help out in any way, shape or form, reach out. Again, Chris's info will be in the description below. So help this thing grow and get more eyes. Again, like the whole reason I started this is there's just so many talented, people in this area. When Chris got here, I was showing him the cut of the new short film that I'm working on. And it's, again, like we were just so excited about the talent of the crew. One person I'm actually going to shout out because I know it's going to make her day. And you said something like that was cool. So Lindsay DeLand is in my short film. I worked with Lindsay. She had written a short film that she wanted to put together, and we did. We shot it. She acted in it. She did great. The amount of improvement that I've seen in Lindsay from then till now, like you literally made the comment. You were like, I need to write Lindsay a letter. Like that's.
Yeah, I blew my mind. If you were watching this, Lindsay, and she might be, right? She's a fan.
Yeah, and she'll be on here eventually. Yep.
It's just, it looks so great. Like Lindsay was one of these filmmakers that submitted to the festival. I guess it was the year before last.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but she wrote it?
Yeah.
And you produced it and shot it? Did she direct it? You directed it?
We worked fast that night, so I threw a lot of stuff out, but it was a really collaborative night. Everybody kind of had their hand into making sure everything.
One night?
Oh, we did that. I think we shot that in 4 hours, I think.
Unbelievable. It's called Are You Alone in the House? And it's it's a horror film that you shot here in your own home.
Upstairs, yep.
Right? And how did you meet Lindsay in the first place?
So
you put these sort of calls out on the internet and people respond to them. That's how I met you.
Yeah. So Lindsay actually had a teacher that's buddies with a friend of mine, and they were talking, and he knew I was into the film stuff. And like Lindsay had expressed that. So he had reached out to his buddy and was like, hey, you're a guy that does film. Like, do you think you'd have any interest in like showing her the ropes or whatever? So he's like, well, let me ask him. So I'm like, yeah, any chance I have to help anybody out or, show them anything when it gets into this, I want to encourage you to get into the arts. So she reached out, and right off the bat, like I could just tell how eager and how hungry she was. She was talking about writing and how she wanted to act. And, I already had these other people telling me like, yeah, she's motivated and she wants it. So I was like, send me your script. Let me check it out. And it was one location. It was something we could have shot easily enough. And I was like, let's do it. And she was like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. And we did.
You did. I mean, that's just such a simple little 2-sentence statement. We did. But knowing everything that goes into that, just the rando people that you've never met before, and you throw this incredible energy at a project like that. You shot it in 4 hours. That's insane. That's insane. You're insane. Yeah. But it worked, and it was great. And, I love to make loving fun of that. Because there's a pet, I love it. I love you, Lindsay. There's a pet peeve of mine that is when you are winging something, there's this strong impulse to throw in F-bombs, to sort of spackle stuff together, to give it oomph and to give yourself a little adrenaline spike. And the joke that I made to myself at the time when I watched it was it should have been called, the title is, Are You Alone in the House? And I thought after watching it, it should be called, Are You Effing Alone in the Effing House? because it is, yes, there's some colorful language throughout. Yeah. It's a horror film. It works. Yeah. It's not a criticism of the thing, but I thought watching Lindsay, watching you, and it's not even done being edited yet. You have come so far. I couldn't tear my eyes off of you. The camera loves you. It's I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah, she's just been working in a lot of movies. Love Spell's a big one that I believe it's about to be on Tubi. I'm gonna mess this one up. I think it's called, I should know it. It's like Dark Places or. There's another horror movie that she did too that's really cool that they're getting ready to drop. I think they're premiering it in a theater next week. I'll throw the info up on the screen now if I can find it, and I should know the name to it too. Like I look at the stuff enough to I should be on top of it. But yeah, no. And actually, before we move on, so I will have Lindsay on the podcast for sure because I want to hear what she thinks about being an actress and stuff. And what I really want to ask, and I always want people to be honest with me because listen, I know I'm not perfect. I know I have my faults. I know I can do things better. So if I don't get the criticism back, I don't know how to grow, right? So like, I'd just love to ask her, like she's worked with a bunch of other people now, like how does working with me, stack up? Like what did you like? What didn't you like? Because Chris, you know me, we've worked together. I'm fast. My brain works really fast. And with my ADHD, sometimes I don't get the whole story out. I assume people know what I'm talking about. And it can be difficult, especially when you're trying to give somebody creative direction and stuff like that. But also on the flip side, like you said, like in 4 hours, we put something like that together. So some of it works, but I'd just be curious to see like what the other side of the table thinks about the energy and the way we do things over here at Running Scared.
I think it's amazing. And I would never say anything to slow you down. It makes me think there's a young filmmaker who's not quite as young as Lindsay named Riley Crosby. Crosby? I'm so sorry for watching this. I keep forgetting whether it's Cosby and I keep saying Crosby, or it's Crosby and I keep saying Cosby.
And when the camera's rolling on, it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, but it's one of those two names. And he has your energy. He is just this absolutely tireless juggernaut and he has been cranking through genres. So he'll do cosmic horror and he'll do a kind of a anime type thing, like a live action Japanese action thing. And a kind of a noir thriller, and he's just insatiable for cranking out this content. Is it all perfect? Of course it's not. What in art is, but I think the biggest enemy in making a film is finishing it, just getting the thing finished. Because you do all the pre-production that you do, then there's production of actually shooting the film, and then there's an entire post-production process that often takes as long, if not longer, than the production itself. And you worked on a project with me and my friend Travis Guba that we still have not finished, and we are grinding away at trying to get something made, because a movie that you never finish is nothing. Mm-hmm. It's just nothing. And you go, well, maybe we could make some of this someday, but until you do, it's literally the tree that falls in the forest that nobody hears. I would say that your energy and your speed is the feature and the bug. So as you continue to work and learn about yourself and do what you're doing, you're going to find the ways in which that energy is an incredible asset that you should never change, and you should just trust implicitly and don't touch a thing. And then you will find the places where it feels like you're missing something, or you're stepping on a toe, or you're cutting a corner, and you'll come up with ways to work around that. You'll say, okay, well, I do these 9 out of 10 things perfectly. I'm going to trust that process. I'm going to change that. And on that 10th thing, I got to find somebody to solve that for me, or collaborate with me in a way that doesn't end up being something I look back on and saying, I would have done that differently if I could have.
Yeah. No, it's when we were working on that project, it's actually funny. I was talking to Michael Norman, who I should have shouted out in episode 1. So this scarecrow, like one of my favorite things ever made in this entire, was made by Mike. Mike was a makeup and special effects guy to start out for me. He's just absolutely phenomenal work. He's been in stuff we've submitted to the Film Fest. He's been
great.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. He's does a lot of media himself. He does TikTok. Back when we were hanging out back then, he hit over 100,000 subscribers. I mean, he just hustles. He loves this stuff through and through and puts in a ton of effort, but the kid is just endless talent. He's acted in a few of my projects, and it's like everything he's done or been a part of, he's only made Running Scared so much better in so many ways. And it's like getting to meet him and like work with him through this process and all this stuff. Like it's just, it's been really cool. To your point, like you brought up earlier about like the connections that you make through doing stuff like this. And I'm hoping, there's some time I'd love to do some stuff with Mike and get him involved in some projects we have coming up and stuff. But what I thought was super cool too is you had just brought up, this other kid you're talking about, and about how he jumped genres and stuff like that. We were doing a little bit of talking. I've been jumping genres a little bit. I'm working on a rom-com right now. And as far as like filmmaking goes, I'll tell you, like, I am so glad I've done this because it's forced me outside of my comfort zone so hard. Like everything I've done has been like similar work. Like you've seen all my work before. It's like this horror that's like for like 18 to 40-year-old like men. Like it's, with horror, you can find yourself in a situation where you can fight your way out pretty much with anything. You can use sound design. You can use the jumps. There's a lot of ways you can get out of it. What I've realized when I started working on this rom-com is, my goodness, this is difficult. Like every single line has to be perfect. Every single action has to be like, there's no hiding anything. If the performance falls flat because they messed up one line or one look or one micro face expression, the entire thing falls apart. And it's like, especially when you're trying to do it in a short film, you need to make people care about these characters fast. It's been a real challenge, but like, I would encourage anybody like jump genres. Like, so I'm glad he's doing that because you will learn and you will grow so much faster because you're forced to like deal with these problems and face these situations through a completely different lens that you wouldn't normally do. When you're in your comfort zone, I think you can only grow so much, but when you're out of your comfort zone, your potential to grow in a fast amount of time is like through the roof.
Yeah. I mean, I agree 100% with everything you just said.
Nice.
To bring it back around, actually, to Lindsay DeLand for a second, one of my favorite things about making independent films, but you see it in the festival too. We started doing these meetups on a regular basis where people get together and have conversations like this. You see when somebody catches the bug, like they have an opportunity to be on a set. And there's no greater learning experience about making a movie than being on a set and seeing all the moving pieces and actually having to solve problems. You walk away from that with this incredible hands-on understanding. And I think that deepens every project you do, and genre to genre, you realize, horror is different than romantic comedy, like in fundamental ways.
Yeah.
But I love seeing somebody who's sort of independent film curious get on set and really catch the bug. Like you really see like that penny drop. That is so exciting, and seeing how far Lindsay's work has come is just, I get that giddy excitement. It's like makes me feel like a kid again,
Right?
It's like, go get him.
And she did that in a short period of time. But again, it's like if you want it and you're hungry and you're out there and grinding. And speaking of people that are hungry and want it, we talked about it earlier. I'm terrible with names. I hope I get this right. Kayla Garabedian. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. She's also in the short film, and she showed up. She wasn't feeling great. She put in the most effort, the best effort, a top tier performance. She walked around the corner and delivered her first line, and everybody in the entire room, cast, crew, got immediately sucked into what she was doing, what she was saying. She's unbelievably hungry to grow right now. Like, I think you were talking, she's in a bunch of submissions that have come through the festival already.
I produced a film in Easthampton this past year that she auditioned for and blew us away. And we ended up not casting her for reasons. I mean, you know, it happens. And then just reviewing submissions this year, I think there's 3 that I've seen her in, and this is like the 4th. I don't have the exact count, just dynamite.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like, her work ethic, like her attitude too. I mean, she got on set, she had a smile on her face the entire time. She's just so approachable. She's just so agreeable. She wants to do such a good job. It's like she's got great ideas. And again, there's acting, and then there's like, I don't know, certain people have a way where they just like demand the presence in the room. Like, not everybody can do that. And on camera, she can, like, her eyes, she's got like the sharpness to them, and like she just pulls you in, and she put in a ton of effort. So again, like fighting through, I said at one point, because I knew she was like struggling, like not feeling good. I'm like, listen, we don't have to finish this today. Like she's like, no, if we don't get it done, like the chances of, like, she knows, she's been in the game. She was right. If we didn't finish it, there's a good chance it didn't get made, but she toughed it out. And it was like, we got something awesome. When I showed you, I had said, like, there's the reveal where she comes on screen for the first time. And I'm just like, she just nailed it out of the park. Every time I see it, I'm just like, I'm so impressed by it and by how much effort she puts in. So if there's anybody out there that's looking to cast a phenomenal actress in this area, I couldn't recommend anybody higher. She truly brought up the entire level of our production just by showing up and doing what she did. She, in the short, she did her own makeup. She came up with her own costume and design, because I'm not good at that stuff. Like, that's definitely not my strong suit, but just the effort she put in was like, it meant a lot to me, because it was a huge part to why I think this is going to be watchable and why we're going to be proud of it. So Kayla, if you see this, thank you so much for your effort, because that was a lot of work. Who do you want to shout out? You've worked with a lot of people throughout the times.
I literally, I have a list that we couldn't get. I would just be like reading a phone book. I'd just be saying names. I think what I would like to say is thank you for continuing to do stuff like this and put it out there. I mentioned it earlier, but I moved to the area and I was looking around for film people to just play around with, have fun with. And I think I saw a Facebook post of you. I don't remember exactly, but you were doing these sort of, you know, not workshops, just kind of like exercise sessions where you'd play around with different, you'd invite whoever wanted to come. And I met Michael, I think, at one of those, and a couple of other folks that you continue to work with. And I love it. I mean, that is the micro version of the film festival. I think we're trying to figure out with the film festival how to institutionalize some version of that sandbox playground, because it really is for me, independent cinema is that kind of, you're just looking for a spark to catch fire. And for me, that's the people that you end up doing it with. So you come to a networking event or you come to a weekend like you hosted and you hit it off with somebody. And the beauty of you being able to work so fast is you can make a movie like, you know, Are You Alone in the House in 4 hours.
I think I edited it in 6.
Right. So that's, yeah. I mean, to be fair, you shot it in 4 hours and you spent longer than that in post putting it together, but still 6 hours is crazy. You know, I think that you creating opportunities for people to get together and exercise these movie making muscles is incredibly valuable. And this podcast is a part of that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Back then, honestly, so those days you're talking about, when I talked about the first episode, like how obsessed I got with this stuff and I watched Film Riot and all that stuff, like, I'm not kidding. Like, when I got Judith Weston's directing actors, all these books that I have, I've read, I've obsessed over, I've gone through. Like, when I learned about cove-lighting for the first time, I went out, I bought unbleached muslin, I bought 3, like, you know, can lights that I could use to do this way. And I'm like, it's great that I have this space in this basement and this gear, but like without the people and like setting it up, like what could I do? And I'm like, I'm this dude that's literally in my basement doing filmmaking by myself, trying to do all this stuff, getting better, holding the camera. Like, you know, it's like I put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into this stuff throughout the years. And I got to this point where I'm like, why don't I have other people here that want to practice and work on their skills and their craft too? So I'd invite actors and people, you know, down to sit in and fill those spots so I could just practice. Like, we shot a lot of footage and none of it's ever seen the light of day. Like, it's not because it wasn't good enough. It was because that wasn't the point. It was for us to watch and grow and learn and see what we could do better. What made me feel really good is when I worked on that project, we were talking about with Travis Goob and stuff, like you guys complimented my cinematography a lot.
Oh, it's great.
I didn't like the amount of hours that I've put into working on that gimbal. Like, I'm 6'2". I am a tall, gangly dude. Like, you guys see it. I slouch, I move, I heel toe. Like, that camera and that gimbal is a part of my body. It's an extension of me. And like, not everybody can move and do that the way that I do that. But like, that's because like when other people are out hanging out with their friends, you know, doing whatever, I'm literally practicing heel toe in my basement by myself. And it got to the point where I outgrew that and I wanted to start shoot. Even if you shoot another project in a day, like I'm not knocking it or minimizing it, but like that could have been a practice day. If we showed up for an hour before that, we're like, hey, let's write. So like, we can do stuff like that. Like, if you're motivated and you find the right group of people that want it, you can do that like often, you know? So that was it, you know?
And Enrico and I came out here with the actor from that film and we did some underwater filming in your swimming pool. And that was such a fun day.
Yeah.
You know, with your dogs running around. The B-roll, the kind of behind the scenes footage we have from that day is really fun. Nice. Yeah. Good stuff. I mean, I would just say there's this incredible amount, and maybe this is true of everywhere in the country, but I think of it as Western Massachusetts because that's the talent pool I see. So many people, and digital cameras and digital mics and this technology has made it much more affordable, right? If you have to be buying a really expensive camera and paying for the film and developing, then filmmaking has yet another hurdle. You know, and VHS just doesn't have the kind of the quality bar that the digital stuff does now. I'm seeing so much remarkable work and different perspectives and documentary stuff coming out now, and even stuff that you shoot on an iPhone with some of those things have, you know, cameras that are better than the older digital cameras that you might use. If you can tell a compelling story, you know, and it looks good enough to project up on a big screen, which is really 1080p, right? A projector will put it through that and it'll look great. So that's not high resolution particularly. You can shoot on just about anything. And I think the state of streamers and, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all that stuff has left us with people are hungry to see different visions, independent visions. And horror audiences in particular are extremely forgiving, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I started going with that comment, but it's so exciting to me to discover not just, there are a group of people making independent cinema in Western Massachusetts, but this place is lousy with independent filmmakers and really good ones. Like, it's just so exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the Duplass brothers or, you know, I don't know what these movers and shakers are going to do in terms of new distribution channels, because Netflix has now started to feel like it's a studio and it's a closed loop and you can't get in there. And Amazon the same way. There was a hot minute there where you thought, maybe I'll take my original, you know, thing and I'll be able to sell it to one of these streamers and get a distribution deal, and that feel like that window has closed. But some next thing will emerge. You know, and I know this is a long monologue at this point, but you said it earlier, it's like, that's not really why we're doing it at this level. It would be awesome to sell a movie that we make. It would be awesome. Anybody who wants to buy a movie, that would be awesome. But that's not what we do. We do it because we love doing it, because we love the people that we end up doing it with. And then when you do that and you get to see it on the big screen, how well it came out, I'm that 7-year-old again that had my parents' 16 millimeter camera that made movies with the Star Wars action figures I had. I'm that kid again. It's just, it's so much fun.
No, I hear you on that. So we're going to change directions here a little bit because the more I thought about it, you had brought up the film festival. And I feel like if I was watching this podcast, I'd be like, dude, why aren't you asking this question? You have to reject some applicants and it's tough. What are some things that you see that come across often that are reasons that you would choose or not choose a short film? Like if somebody is watching this and they're getting ready to submit to a festival, what should they avoid? Is there something that you see where instantly you're like, what's your thought process behind that?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I don't consider myself an expert. I'm just the guy who started the film festival, right? So there's just my opinion on it. I'm not like the king of movies. I just, I have an opinion and I started the festival. Go start your own festival. Sincerely, do. That being said, we have committees now of people that I think it's just a much better process. We have 10 criteria by which we've decided the films are going to be rated this year, from just pretty vanilla stuff like cinematography, impact. I added one that is really important to me, which is local relevance. So if it's a film from, Arizona and it literally has nothing to do with Easthampton, we just don't rate local relevance, and that doesn't hurt its other score. But if something was shot in Easthampton and it's about Easthampton and Easthamptoners are going to love it, then that might have a local relevance of 9 or 10, and that helps its score. So we're doing that for the first time this year. I think it's a wonderfully liberating tool. Prior to that, my kind of litmus test was, is this something I would feel good having spent money on a ticket to see? So there's a lot of people making films at a lot of different levels, and all of it's great, and I don't want to be discouraging to anybody doing it. But whether it's subject matter or like there was some really graphic horror stuff we saw, I would constantly be thinking to myself, is an audience going to like this? And if I was in the audience, would I feel a bitter taste in my mouth that I spent money to watch this? And they're cheap tickets, but that was my litmus test. So sometimes, the other thing is there's just this incredibly administrative aspect to it, which is, I've got room for a 10-minute slot here. And I've got these 3 films that are all about kitchens for whatever reason. And they're all really good in their own way. But this one's 10 minutes and these 2 other ones are 25. So the 10-minute one's in, And I will occasionally get messages from filmmakers that are clearly disappointed and say, why didn't you accept my film? And I will have that conversation with them. I welcome that conversation because it's never because I didn't think your film was good. It's that it didn't fit the program we were putting together. You build a mixtape and you get 12 songs. And it's not like there's only 12 good songs,
Yeah.
You got to come out of the gates with the monologue that John Cusack has in, oh man, I can't ever think of the record store one. You know that movie, right?
I don't.
This blows the story because I can't remember the name of the thing, but he talks about making mixtapes. He's like, there's a lot of rules. You got to start strong to catch people's attention, and then track 2's got to take it up a notch. And then on track 3, you can change direction a little bit, but it's like, curating a thing is its own art form. And as a filmmaker, I know this as a filmmaker, you submit a thing and you're like, I love this, tell me it's good. And somebody doesn't accept your film or doesn't program your film. And that feels like you didn't like my film. But that's never the full story of it right there, right?
Yeah. So again, I'm nobody to give advice or anything either, but we have been around the game for a while. You are on your 5th year now of running a film festival, so you do have some clout. But I would say we had talked about this earlier, before we started recording.
I don't have any clout, by the way. What clout do you imagine I
Listen,
have?
you've got some over at Running Scared. I'm just saying. You don't know you do, but you do. No, but so a short film, and this is just our opinion, but we've pretty much agreed on it. A short film is like 12-ish minutes. When you come in with a 25-minute short film, it's way more of a commitment. Now, again, I'm struggling. I'm working on this rom-com. I'm at 20 pages right now, and I don't think I can make it any shorter. But like, if you're trying to submit to a film festival, the 2 pieces of advice that I would give you. So before I move on to me, the one thing I do want to touch on too that you brought up, you said, if I'm in the audience watching, you don't mean me as Chris Ferry sitting in the, like, you're everywhere from a younger kid to an older lady, gentleman, whatever. So there's a wide range of people that's watching it. So it's not just about your demographic of horror or stuff. Like, there's some people that don't like that. So you're really trying to cover a wide range of things. So I like that you take that in consideration. But what I would say is, like, the important thing is, again, like, you got to know your audience. If you're submitting something over the top graphical, that's cool. Like, I support your art, but like, a local film fest just might not take it. The 2 things that I think can burn you, I'd say keep it under 12 minutes. Like, try to keep a short film, because I think, to your point, you're way more likely to get stuck in a slot. Or I would have to imagine, you didn't say it, but like, if you're stuck between 3 short films at the end of it, and you can fit these two in, or you could fit this one in, it's nice to show more people off. I think you'd have to be more incentivized to want to show off the 2 instead of the one longer one, right? Like,
well, yeah, but there's asterisks even on that, right? Because we try and showcase local stuff. And we do a talk back, and the format of the talk back is everybody gets up on stage, everybody who's representing a film. So you can have too big a talk back. If you have 18 people on stage, that is an unwieldy talk back. So maybe we split it into 2 screenings, right? But the idea of, like, we could squeeze 2 more in there. Again, it's not that they're not both good. It's just like, I think that's going to make the talk back too heavy.
Yeah. You're more flexible with a short film. Right?
I personally couldn't agree with you more. I think 10 minutes is the sweet spot. And, if you're making a feature, I think that your hope is to sell that feature for distribution, right? That's the novel format. I wrote a novel. I'm hoping that somebody will pay me to publish the novel. If I write a feature, I'm hoping that it gets distributed in some way that people will watch it. If you're making a short film, there really isn't a distribution channel for short films other than the internet and film festivals right now. And I would love that to change. But if we're sticking with the metaphor of the novel is the feature, then short films are poems. And personally speaking, a poem can be and should be as long as it needs to be. But in terms of people's attention span, there's a 22-minute or half-hour episode of television. There's a feature. If it's a documentary, there could be an hour version of it. That's an hour of television. National Geographic presents this hour documentary on something, right? If it's just a short narrative film, 10 minutes. And if it's 12, a great exercise, I would say, is can you get it to 10?
Kill your darlings. We talked about that earlier.
Can you get it to 10 without breaking the movie? And there's a filmmaker that I met, Joshua Gestel, who took a 12-minute film that I thought was a great 12-minute film, and he cut it to like 2:36. I was like, that is ruthless. It's like, well, I wanted to cut all the fat. I think he cut a couple of limbs there too, man. I mean, it works as a film that short. It really is just the core of it. But I thought some of the stuff that he cut was like lovely stuff. And I'm like, I watched it. So there's an exception to every rule.
Yeah. Well, so again, I think if I had to say, be mindful of the time in which your short film is a short film. The other thing that I would say, and you kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, I mentioned this in the first podcast, and it took me a long time to learn this, but like, when it comes to the image, I was just on a family vacation and I brought a GoPro Hero 11 with me. Dude, I was so mad because like, even when I was filming with that thing at times, I was so mad at how good it did. I was so mad at the in-body stabilization. I was so mad that like, I turned it on and I pressed record. I didn't have to worry about f-stop, ISO, shutter. Like, And I came back and I'm like, the footage is incredible. I hate it. Like, the thing was so cheap. It's not about the gear at all. Any camera, you said it earlier, a cell phone, a GoPro. When people ask me like what camera I should buy, I still literally, the Lumix, what is it, the GH4? I think it's the GH4. Of course, I'm on camera right now, I can't remember, but like, the Panasonic Lumix, I'm pretty sure it's a GH4. It's like, the camera's super old, but it does something with the image that's just absolutely gorgeous. But what people will not forgive, here's the tip. I know I circle around a lot to get to the point. People will not forgive bad audio. I have to imagine that's got to be a big indicator. Like, if people aren't going to be able to hear it and enjoy it, and if it's going to, like, bad audio can almost make you sick, like sitting through it, right? Yeah. So like, literally before
it can break your movie.
100%.
Great audio, you don't even notice it because you feel like you're in the film.
Yeah.
So you don't get a lot of credit for gorgeous audio, but bad audio ruins the movie.
People will forgive a bad image because it's a stylistic choice. People will never forgive bad audio. So consider how long your short is and consider, like, does it really sound as good as it can? Because if it's like hard to hear, if it sounds tinny, if it's really split up, like, I think that that makes you lose the professional feeling to anything you're putting out faster than anything out there, is once you hear the audio. Like, I don't know.
Well, when you're submitting to a film festival, my preference would be to, for example, Film Freeway is the kind of default thing that people are using now, and I'm sure that new platforms will rise. I know there's a couple that are. Make use of the entire portfolio that's available to you on the platform. So upload still photographs, write a cover letter, spend time thinking about your director's statement and synopsis, every piece of that. Cut a trailer, even if it is a 10-minute film, even if it's a little teaser, because I want to look at how the thing sounds and feels. I want to be able to see that. And it's another opportunity for you to showcase the project and get into a different part of the people who are reviewing its brain. So I see a lot of stuff that it's like director, title, runtime, country of origin. There's not a still photo. There's not a poster. There's no trailer. I have nothing to go on, and the log line's like, guy, has a problem and finds a resolution. I mean, why do I want to spend more time with that, right? So everything you can do when you're building your portfolio, your submission page around your film, do that intentionally, do that meaningfully.
I don't know if this is as big for you, but I'm somebody that, like, whenever I film like a music video, I always tell the band, I'm like, listen, like, you need to sell this performance, because if you don't care about you, why is anybody else? Like, you have to have that confidence and come in and just like, and move it and know. And so when you do a submission package, any of those extra things, like when you show you that they actually care about what they're doing. So that's exactly it. Like, for me, especially when I go into a business in today's day and age, like, everything's expensive. Like, if you go buy lunch or anything, it's like, I'm just so sick of people not caring about anything anymore. So for me, I'm somebody that, you do those little extra things that show that you're doing this for the right reasons, that you're really motivated and you have the drive and the effort. Like, those things speak louder to me than, honestly, the project itself. Like, it's, I don't know. I think we live in a time where it's like everything's so disposable. Like, we don't hold on to anything anymore. Like, maybe this wasn't the same for you, but I remember, like, back in the days of Blockbuster, right? Like, you'd have to wait for a movie sometimes. Like, you couldn't always get it right away. So you got it. And it's like, even if the movie was bad, you almost didn't care, because, like, you got to watch a movie that night. Nothing was so accessible to you where we just had it all the time. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age now where it's like, everything is right here. It's right in front of your face. And it's like, yes, people can do wild or weird things to, like, separate themselves. But for me, the thing that I'm still to this day and age looking for that separates it, it's the time, it's the care, it's the effort, it's the passion. That really does stand out for me.
Yeah. I was just listening to a podcast where they were talking about Bad Bunny and, his rise to prominence and bringing Spanish language stuff into the mainstream. And one of the things that kept coming back, it seems to be, he seems like a musical genius in many ways and whatever. Can't pretend to be an expert on his music, but this sort of authenticity that he brings to it, that his personality is his personality and he hasn't whitewashed or modified that in any way. And he really is just his full self. And that seems to be the beating heart of people's love. The music is great, but they love the artist. You know what I mean? And his personality is definitely in the music, but it's all of a piece.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to have people on this podcast so people can see and get to know the artist behind it and because like I'm telling you, there's nobody that's going to sit in this seat that's not going to love and care about cinema and the arts and stuff as much as we do, you know? And it's like, this is the opportunity to get to hear you. Because again, like if you're new, like the first time I thought about submitting to a film festival, like to be perfectly honest, even when I did the first time, I knew you when I was nervous because it's like, I knew you had a ton of submissions that were going to be coming in. And it's you don't know what to expect, right? It's like, you don't know who's on the other side of it. But like, if you're thinking about submitting to the Easthampton Film Festival, like this is it. It's a nice, friendly atmosphere. You know, it's like, and again, I'm telling you, like whether your short gets accepted or not, whether you even submitted this year or not, like go down and check it out.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Walk in, see.
We're not exclusive.
Yeah,
we are not trying to be exclusive. It's not, you know.
Everybody's welcome. Anybody can walk in and be a part of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, where else would you get to walk in, see a piece of media like that, and then get to talk to people about how it was made, where they came from, like, you know, the backstory behind it. That's pretty incredible. Like you said, it's not an expensive night. It's not like it costs you a lot more to go to the movies, you know, than it does to walk into something like this. So
yeah, we try and focus on everything we've been talking about. For me, it's inspirational, right? Going to one of these programs and seeing all of these different great films spark ideas in me. And the fact that the filmmaker's there, or that I know they're going to be at the award ceremony or whatever, I go and seek them out and be like, wow, I really loved your film, like this particular aspect of it. It makes me want to do it. And then you have this great conversation that comes out of that, and you're forging a new relationship with somebody. Yeah, that's very much what I want people to walk away from this festival with.
No, that's awesome. I'll share one more relationship story that I've got from film, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. I'll let you plug in the last stuff that you want to do. Well, no, nothing weird. Like, yeah, I made that sound super weird, huh? Well, no. So like I shot this short film called He Is No Man that was written by a dude I've never met in person named Don Noble. Wicked talented dude. He does like cover art for authors and stuff. And we just ended up talking. He saw this like first short that I ever did that was like literally terrible. And he was like, hey man, I saw what you were doing. I liked it, blah, blah, blah. He sent me a script. I really liked it. So I went to shoot it. We had this actress. She's actually in this short that I just did now too. Her name's Kim. And this entire thing hinged on this stranger I had never met that agreed to show up to like be here for this thing. We had like 6 people here ready to go. Like we were going to press record, and it like, this lady either shows up like she says she's going to, nobody's ever met her or talked to her in person, and we can press record and we can do this, or she doesn't. And this 3 months of pre-production down the drain, right? Like, and I'm up on a ladder and I'm like hanging some stuff, and I just hear hello, and I turn around and I see Kim, and there she is. So like I brought it up in the first, podcast teaser that I did, essentially, where it's like, I like to work with people that I know I can trust. Like Kim showed up that day. She had a great attitude. She knocked it out of the park. I needed her again for this short. She showed up on time, great attitude, and knocked it out of the park. So it's like, it's stuff like that. It's like, it's funny to me because it's like so much hinged, that entire project, on her just showing up. And she did. Like, it was cool, I don't know. Yeah. So do you have any, like, go ahead and share one with us that you've connected with on set, somebody that like, or something that you've seen that's impressed you or restored your faith in humanity or whatnot, inspired you?
I mean, the relationship story I have is the project that we shot with Travis. I met Enrico. I put a casting notice on Facebook because we needed extras for a party scene. And he wrote back and said, hey, I'm a Easthampton native. I'm not an actor, but I'm really down with independent cinema. I'd be perfectly happy to help out. And this is just cold. I've never heard of this guy from Adam. And I said, okay, well, can you get to such and such place? Do you have a car? And he said, I don't have a car, but I have a bike. And I'm kind of like, all right. I mean, what am I going to get? Who's going to show up on his bike with all of his equipment strapped to the back of his bike? Like, but beggars can't be choosers. So I was like, great, more the merrier. And Enrico is the technical director of the festival now, and one of my best friends in town. So it's like, I mean, Enrico.
Enrico is a phenomenal human being. He's just got such good energy. He worked on that short that you had brought up as the other director of photography. he's just, I don't know, the way he sees cinema, the way he understands it, the way he nerds out about it, he understands lighting and composition and all the important things that go into like, not just like making a good image, but truly making like a special image.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I there's not enough positive things I could say about Enrico.
Yeah. And, you know, that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't just put a Facebook post out into the world and said, hey, who wants to make a movie? You know?
And he rides his bike everywhere. He shows up to everything we're going to do on his bike. Yeah.
He's got this e-bike. He's got a whole, he'll tell you all about his vision for, you know, town reorganization and why cars are bad. And it's great.
Well, he's not wrong. That's for sure. I definitely have Enrico on the podcast too, for sure. So Enrico, if you see this and you want to come on, man, let me know. I might have to pick you up. I don't know if you're riding your bike this far. We'll get you down here and figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's great, man. So let's wrap this up. But where can people find you? Do you have any other information that you want to throw, you want people to know? And
EasthamptonFilmFestival.com. Like if you're in the area, if you're in Massachusetts for sure, or if you like film festivals and you want to travel a little bit from Connecticut or Vermont or, you know, the surrounding area or California, you're welcome. But yeah, come get involved and check it out. I think we got a really good thing going, and it's absolutely small potatoes, but the grassroots is a bug, it's a feature, not a bug. And yeah, come check it out. EasthamptonFilmFestival.com.
I guarantee you, if you walk into this place, you're going to have a good time. You're going to meet great people. It's full of good energy. It's absolutely worth it. Until next time, stay safe.
It's amazing because the budget for The Killer Across the Street was like $6,000, and now I'm wondering where the other $5,700 went. Because I didn't get that.
You need a Josh DeForge from Running Scared Motion Pictures.